All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to a very official episode of the BCP. Guys, this is long overdue, but finally, very happy to welcome in the GM of Titan Championship Wrestling. He is a referee. He is all over the place on the independent wrestling scene. Our good friend, Mr. SP Andersen. Spell it correctly, guys. Spell it correctly.
Thank you, man. It's great to finally be on, I've been keeping tabs on you since I started as a GM at Titan. So, it's great to be here finally.
I appreciate it, man. A long overdue. Definitely someone I've been wanting to have on the show for a while. And I think the timeline right now is perfect because there's been a lot of banter between you. Let's get right into it. AJ Pan, Ray Kalitri, some interactions at basketball. Long story short, for those keeping score here, Ray had lost a match because a young fan came in, counted the 1, 2, 3. The official said it was official, and that went down. And basically, I guess Titan management, ownership, overall have pretty much decided that call is going to stand. Ray's not happy about it. AJ's not happy about it. You guys have had some words. There's been some chats on some of my streams. Your thoughts on this whole situation, Mr. Andersen?
Now, we all know that end of that match was kind of suspect. I was out there. I saw what happened. I also saw what happened before that with AJ getting involved. And the whole reason that the referee was out of position and kind of injured was because of Ray and AJ. Now, the ref did see the count. It's not every day you have a fan roll in the ring and make a count, which is why I had to take some time and think on it. And
sure.
The decision we came to, I'm not 100% happy with, honestly.
Okay.
The ownership of Titan kind of wanted a one-on-one match for that belt. And that was the best decision we could come to at the time because we couldn't just put Ray in a one-on-one match after the outcome. But I would say that you're going to see more of Ray. This might be a blessing for him. As AJ would say, this could be a blessing.
There it is. Very, very interesting. We'll see what happens moving forward. And you can no comment on this one if you want. But we talked before the interview. You said, "Hey, man, nothing's off limits. Let's go." I like that. That's the best way to be, man. I love it, man. So we'll talk about this. Even in your statement just now, I heard a little bit of it. There almost seems to be, I don't want to use the word tension, but there seems to be a little bit of a maybe disconnect between you, you're nodding already, and ownership. Sometimes, you being the GM, some of the decisions that ownership has made, as we often see in the NFL and things of that nature, man. Any comments on that situation? You're going to be politically correct here.
No, I'm never politically correct.
I love it.
I've known Billy a long time. I knew Billy since he was a fan and used to come to UWA shows, and he'd call my name out, and I'd turn and see him in the crowd with his family. I love Billy. Yeah. I think he's a great guy, but his plate's too full right now. He's got a lot of stuff going on in his personal life, his work. He moved, if people don't know, and he's just not around. And then on top of that, this whole thing he's got going on with Joe Bellini and Warriors up in New York. I don't get it. I think it's unwanted attention. I think it puts the rest of the locker room at risk, honestly, because we saw how they ran into our show. And it wasn't just those guys they targeted. I mean, they could have hurt our fans. They could have hurt anybody else that came out. And just, I don't understand where he's going with things right now. And I haven't heard a word from him in probably a month and a half from Billy. So I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what's going on with him. I hope I hear from him before the 25th. But we'll see. If not, I'll see him there, maybe.
Interesting. A little bit of a disconnect here as we're putting it. And SP, like you said, he's keeping it very, very real here. I'm just the messenger asking the questions, man. But this is very, very interesting. We'll see how that plays out with matchmaking and decisions moving forward. That should be very interesting. But let's talk about the card a little bit. I was talking to you off air. And SP, I definitely just want to, the interviewer in me wants to get to know you a little bit better. But you're like, hey, man, let's push the card a little bit. Being a company guy, I like it. Being the GM, representing your brand, I love it. So let's talk about this one. Almost a year in the making. My personal hero, the Moran, the myth, the legend, Johnny Moran, taking on Steve Monster Mack, the TCW heavyweight champion finally, this is finally going down at Warfare. Guys, get your tickets now. That's going to be September 25th, I believe, in Bayville, New Jersey. Get your tickets at Titan-championshipwrestling.com. Shameless promo. SP, are you excited for this one?
I have known Steve for 20 years. If I don't know how much of the shirt you can see in the background. That's the first time I worked with Steve in 2002 at the Haas Cup.
Wow.
And this match between him and Moran, the wrestler versus the monster, it's a year in making, like you said.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go into the road to Mount Olympus this year with unfinished business from last year. Moran and Mac have been going at it since Mount Olympus last year. And for everyone that doesn't know, there was a little bit of a shady elimination concerning Moran and Mac during that match. But I'm just glad that the two of them are going to get in the ring finally. It's definitely going to happen. They've been teasing it. They've been dancing around each other for months now. And I just want it done and over with so that we can focus on Mount Olympus this year. So hopefully we see a clean match and hopefully we see a decisive victor. So we'll know who the heavyweight champion is going into Mount Olympus.
Yeah, absolutely. And, no secret, friends with Johnny. He's very much inspired me in a lot of ways, man. Always, giving me opportunity and always being a good guy. But no disrespect to obviously the champ, Monster Mac, who I think we need to have on the show and hear his side of the story as well. So I will definitely reach out to the champ for sure. But SP calling it right down the middle. And let's speak on that, man. I'm jumping all over the place here. But speaking of calling it right down the middle, you like that segue?
I do.
Putting on the zebra stripes, my friend. Tell us a little bit about that, because I knew you first as a GM, but I've seen you reffing here and there, man. You're all over the place. Tell us about how you got involved with that.
20 years ago, well, even further back than that, I used to go to Iron Mike Sharp's School of Professional Wrestling as a fan. Way back in the day. This is when guys like Slayer, Nova, Magic, these guys were all training then. They were young. They were 18, and I was a little kid watching wrestling.
Wow, that's
and
wild.
Years later, another friend of mine, the Prophet, Ben Woods, who's down in Elevate Pro down in New Orleans, got me involved. He said, you should come around. Don Bucci, who ran PCW at the time, Phoenix, was a friend of mine. And I just ended up coming around and learning a little bit of the business from him. And one day he just said, you trained, right? And yeah, I trained at the time. Sure, yeah. I hadn't trained.
But
he said, oh, cool. You want to start reffing. So my first match was Donnie Bon Jovi, who everyone from back in the day knows from the independent scene in Jersey, versus Donnie B. And it was Donnie B's last match and my first match. So after that, I reffed for Phoenix Championship Wrestling, National Wrestling Superstars with Dapper and Gino Moore, FWF with JD Smooth. I worked with the original JCW, which turned into GCW.
Yep.
When Brett had taken over there with Danny and Ricky Otazu. Then we went over to, there was a couple in between, but I started working for SWF, who you probably won't hear me talk much about today. And then obviously with Titan. So that's where we are now. And now I'm working again as a ref. I was hurt for a few years, so I stopped reffing in ring. And now I'm with Intense Wrestling Alliance. And we've got a show on September 18th, The One. So if you want to see me ref, you can see me there. And also October 9th in Lacey with Standalone Wrestling. We've got the Big Bang with Mark Henry and the BWO. So you can also see me there.
Oh, awesome, man. And I want to ask you this, man. And again, this is why I love doing these interviews, because, we see each other at shows, we talk, we joke around, wrestling fashion, and then it's boom, boom, back to work, man. So it's so good to finally get to know you a little bit better, man. But I want to talk to you about your philosophy on reffing, because I pay attention. I'm a details guy. Now I'm working production, if I'm commentary, if I'm interviewing, whatever I'm doing at shows, I pay attention to the details and the little things. And I've really gotten to know and pay attention to a lot of the refs. And a lot of the refs I've seen refs that are just so good to the point, and I mean this with all due respect, like you don't know that they're there. They're so good. And from working I do camera switching at NFW, shameless promo. There are sometimes you notice if the ref's in a shot or not in a shot. if you're missing something again, you have multiple cameras, but some people are so good at, I guess you have to work like a U, I guess is like the horseshoe. There it is. Like I learned that. So it's interesting learning from everybody. And there's just so many great refs out there. I like all the different varieties. I want to know your philosophy because they're the ones that are like, yeah, I want to be invisible, or they're the ones that kind of get a little bit more involved. They're, in the show. I like all of it, man. So what's kind of like your philosophy, man? Do you want to stand out a little bit? Do you want to be in the background? Does it depend on the match, man? Like, what's your philosophy?
I've done everything, and it's really a lot of times it's a promoter's discretion, what they want to see out of you. If they want you to be more animated during a match, or if they want the focus to just be on the guys, the focus should always be on the guys. The ref should never take the focus away from the workers, the guys or girls. I grew up, I did a lot of stage work when I was younger. Okay. So my audience was always in the one side. There was no crowd on the side. There was no crowd behind you. So I kind of try to work that way where I'm like hard cam side. You're like right now I'm working this way. And I try to push everybody to work side to side too, because it's better for the camera. You still have to play to your live audience, but I like to work the horseshoe. I try to just stay in the back of the ring, honestly, and stay out of the way. But I have been in gimmicks before where I had to
take a
steal a little attention. And for anybody that doesn't know, I'll put this up and I'll point to it. That's Five Guys.
Okay.
I have to mention that other company right now, but we ran a gimmick there where I was the heel ref and we screwed TJ Marconi over for the belt, which I know he's still a little sour about. Right. But yeah, they made me part of the group and I had to be that ref where I ignored, counts and missed things and, had to be an actor more than just a referee. But nowadays I'm trying to just be a straight ref, but if a situation arises, I'm an actor.
we saw a little exchange of money before basketball. I was a little nervous about that.
No. That was addressed with Shane. Now,
it was addressed. It was all. That
was for the after party at Chickies and Pete's that we put together.
And it was a great after party. And shout to basketball and all those.
That whole event was great. Shane did a hell of a job putting that together, man. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Awesome. There may or may not be a part 2. I'm here, and we'll leave it at that. But SP, I love again getting to talk to you, man. I love that you mentioned the cameras as well, because from a production standpoint, I could tell that you know that. And I think wrestlers are actually and refs and everyone involved are really good at blocking, because I'm a drummer, like coming up in the local music scene, so I'm used to like someone always being in front of me, or like, which is fine. I'm even on commentary, I'm like, they keep me behind the table, they keep me away from the cameras, but you guys always pay attention to that. Have you ever like, how should I put this? Have you ever been in like a production? You mentioned coming up there. Like, you've done everything. You've done everything.
I started in high school. I did a lot of TV production.
Okay.
I worked with CNN briefly.
Oh, wow.
When I was younger. And then when I got into wrestling, actually with Donnie, I started by doing some script writing and then kind of doing stuff from a TV production standpoint. We had a television show every week on Adelphia Cable. And that's kind of how I got interested back in wrestling. And like, that was my foot in the door because I already knew about video production and stuff. I kind of let that go over the years. I'm trying to get back into editing and stuff like that. But yeah, my love was originally TV production. So that's why, like, when I ref the way I do, I try to think of it from a camera person standpoint.
Yeah, it's very interesting to me, because obviously you're the general manager, but pulling back the curtain just a little bit, man, have you ever in whatever company had the pencil, so to speak? Have you had that opportunity a few times? That's pretty cool, man. I'd love to have that one. I'm still the sponge right now, taking everything in, man, but that's interesting. So you've done it all. What's your favorite thing to do in the world of wrestling out of all the things that you do?
I haven't done it all. I have wrestled 2 matches. I'm 2-0.
Oh, so you have. There it is. I was going to ask. Okay.
I do want to have another match before I retire, and I'm going to put it out there now. There's a guy that everybody knows named Vinny Cenzo.
Cenzo, sure, we know Cenzo.
I would love to mix it up with him in a wrestling ring before I retire from wrestling officially. He's a guy I respect a lot, and we've been friends for a long time. So I would love to get into a match with him, actually, but.
Nice.
We'll talk about that another time. I'm not there yet.
Okay, I understand. The first
my favorite thing is probably reffing. I really love to ref. Awesome. I love to be in there, and I like working with a lot of young guys because you can kind of communicate with them more during a match and kind of, like, hey, go up to the top and sell right now, or like powder out for a few seconds and let the face get over a little bit. I like to teach a little bit. So I like doing that. I'd like to manage a little bit too. We'll see if that's ever in my cards, but.
Oh, okay, man. Yeah.
I do it all.
I like that, man. That's amazing. Well, let's throw you back to the GM role. Let's take a look at these matches. This one, I said this was the marquee earlier, but these matches keep coming. There's a lot of good ones. I'm very excited for Johnny and Monster Mac, but this is one that was announced, I think, first and foremost on the spot by owner Billy Fetzke at Warfare, guys. Again, September 25th. Get your tickets now. Titan Championship Wrestling. .com or Titan-ChampionshipWrestling.com. We have the triple threat no holds barred match for the Goddesses of War Championship. Vicky slowly coming up on a year here, holding the Goddesses of War Championship against her bestie Gabby Ortiz, and taking on the Gladiator Goddess herself with a new attitude, Miss Riley Shepard. No holds barred. SP, your thoughts on this one? It's going to be a show stealer.
Vicky's been the champ for almost a year now, and she's got like 3 or 4 other belts from different companies too.
I think like 6 total.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, I had to hold like 4 of them up at the last IWA show for like a good 45 seconds. So like I got a good shoulder workout that day.
There you go.
But
nice.
But Riley's really been pushing her buttons lately. She's been sneaking around, attacking Vicky, taking her belt. She has her own belt. Like, it's just been like this back and forth between the two of them. And Vicky and Gabby have been battling forever, it seems like, I've seen them work at different companies, and even though they're besties, they still always go at it like 100% in the ring. So I'm excited to see a no holds barred match between the 3 of them. I would watch out for Riley though. She's nothing to mess around with. And she's been in the fashion of the week there a few times for you. So
that's right.
She's not only just strong, she's also got style.
She's got style too.
She could make a good Goddesses champion. I have to say that.
I'll say that too. The first time she squared off with Vicky, and Vicky was not pleased with me saying this, but I was like, look, like she is a very worthy contender. I wouldn't be surprised if it went either way on this one. And then Vicky beat me up. No, I'm just kidding. But Riley is obviously a force to be reckoned with right now. Think about it. This attitude change. I was calling a match with her. Sure enough, she gets up like a light switch, attacks Vicky. Hasn't been the same since. This new attitude. She's scarier. Just that screech when she's in the ring, man. She's showing up at shows where she's suspended. I would really just watch out for Riley, who is already in her own right an amazing, amazing competitor. Definitely a great resume. And don't count out Gabby, who recently tapped out Vicky at the ECWA women's tournament. So don't forget that, guys. It could go either way, guys. Again, this for me is going to be an amazing match, a possible show stealer. This is a great card, SP. I'm very excited, man. Should we give him one? Oh, it's going to be great. Let's give him one. There's so many good ones. Let's go. Well, we talked about Josh Adams, Ray already a little bit. That's going to be a great one too.
I want to touch on that for a second.
Please, by all means.
With the whole situation with Ray, I felt it was important to put him in the ring with somebody that wasn't a pushover, since we did have to move him down to the bottom of the ladder for the championship. Josh is coming back to TCW. He's been training at the Adrenaline Sports Academy for us. And I couldn't see anybody better for Ray to prove himself against than Josh.
Oh, wow.
I'm not saying I'm on Ray's side here, because I've known Josh for almost 20 years too. I've seen him from when he started to now. Josh is no pushover. He's really gonna push Ray to his limits. And the reason I wanted these two particular to go at it is because I want to see who that next contender is going to be for the middleweight championship. If Ray's that impressive, I'm not going to keep him at the bottom of the ladder. It's ridiculous to move him all the way down because he lost to Rick.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not hot on that right now.
I had my opinions as well. I get what you're saying, Rick. I get what you're saying.
But that's going to be a hot match, and Josh can go. Josh is the master of the submissions, man. He knows like 1,000 submission holds. So if he can get Ray in a compromising position, Ray will go to the bottom of the ladder for a little while.
Yeah, it should be a very interesting match. And thank you for touching on that. There's a lot of moving parts here, but that's what makes a great show.
Yeah, there's
Let's
so
just
much going on, man. I've been so busy with this and everything else coming up for November, coming towards Mount Olympus again. It's a busy
absolutely.
time of the year.
It is, man, and that's a good thing. Let's talk about this. Another match that's been a long time in the making. Finally, this is happening. The
Mm-hmm.
2 out of 3 falls for the TCW Middleweight Championship. Rick Recon, the challenger, taking on the long reigning champion, our resident Greek freak, Nikos Rikos, in this one. 2 out of 3. Oh, man, this could be a show stealer, too. SP, what do you think, man?
Nikos is a vet, man. Nikos has been up and down with companies like Wrestle Pro. I know they just had a big show in Alaska recently,
Yep.
and Rick's been trying to get back to Nikos for months now. He had to deal with Blaze Haram since Blaze cost him that title match. He had the prison match with Blaze, which was just brutal. And then his road back to face Nikos, going through Ray and having to deal with triple threats and 4-ways. And am I the contender? Am I not the number 1 contender? So I don't want it to be a 1-fall match because let's face it, like something could happen and then we're in the same position we were in before. I feel 2 out of 3 falls gives us a little bit better of the odds to find a true champion. It's going to be harder to get that second fall to win the match. And I just feel like the 2 of them could really steal this show with that match, honestly.
Yeah, very well said. And that's some smart booking on your guys' part. The matches between them, like I always say, more strikes than DeGrom on the mound. Like they just go at it right from that first bell. This is going to be crazy, man. It's going to be a solid match.
Yeah, Rick's not a technical guy. Rick is a going and attack kind of guy, That's the school he comes from. And Nikos is a little more technical. Honestly, he strikes, but he's a little more technical. So I'm interested to see how the pinfalls go. If we have 2, if we have 3, we'll see. But
yeah, this should be a good one, man. Let's get one more. And there's so many good ones, man. I know this isn't necessarily your booking, but Funhouse Wrestling Women's Tag Team Championship match. I'm always excited to see some just new gold in the company. We saw a lot of title changes, a lot of new titles at the last show. Gabby Gilbert and Valentina taking on Adina Steele. Karen Tran. This is going to be just a great match. I'm excited to see this one goes and to see some of these ladies finally back at Titan. I'm excited. Goddesses again coming back November 6th. You excited for this one, SP?
Oh, definitely. Me and Magic talked about what we could feature on this show. I've known Magic for 20 years also, so we have a great working relationship. So you'll see a lot of Titan kids and Funhouse, I should say, matches on our shows coming up. But Gabby, nice. I've known for a long time. Gabby is a hell of a worker. Adina, I don't know that much, that well.
She's
I don't
great.
know the other girls in the match that well, honestly. I have seen them all work before, and I know they can all go. So I think the fans are in for a real treat. And Gabby always lights up a room when she's in it, honestly.
I was literally going to say that.
Yeah, she's just positivity, man. Like, there's no one better to represent a brand like Funhouse than Gabby Gilbert.
Yeah, one of the number 1 requests I get to have on the show is Gabby, and definitely it needs to happen for sure.
Oh, she's fantastic.
You said it perfectly. She lights up a room. We're lucky to have her in the locker room. That's amazing. That's so great, man. But let's talk about you a little bit. And the guys again, Warfare September 25th, Titan Championship Wrestling, going to be amazing in Bayville, New Jersey. So many great matches. But let's talk about SP. This is why we do it, man. We talked a little bit. Let's get to the hard hitting questions, right? Like we always do here. We're not hard hitting.
Loosen the shirt up here a little bit.
There it is. It's happening, man. But
I couldn't wear the tie. I knew it would be too tight.
There you go, man. But and hashtag wrestling fashion nominee as well, man. He was looking very dapper.
I like your shirt there. You got a little retro rock rocking.
Oh, that's one of is it retro?
It is now, unfortunately, man. I'm 43 now. I'm feeling old.
Oh, man, dude. 37 right now. I'm pushing 40. I'm getting there.
There we go.
It's the knees that go. But I'll tell you this, SP, man. I appreciate you being very open, man. As a journalist, I very much appreciate that, man. So again, like I said, no company hats here. BCP journalism. Let's call it like it is. We talk about this a lot. I came up pretty much a year ago in this business, going from doing the podcast thing and the press thing. I think everyone's just nice to me because I'm press. But I can't.
I've only started being nice to you recently.
There. That's fair though. I love it. But I came up in this business where everyone was working together. And as these things often do, as I've learned and seen, we've seen a lot of lines in the sand. We've seen a lot of companies not working together so much, which again, competition, we see it on the national brands and whatnot, but apparently this is a very common tale. We see people like Josh and like you able to navigate this, I think, in a way that I think represents both brands or companies that, at the end of the day, I always say, like, everyone's an independent contractor. I know where I want my guys to be. I know where I don't want my guys to be. And at the same time, I look at it from the promoter perspective is like, hey, I don't want you to work here because of this. If you work somewhere, I can look at it from both sides. I'm just commentary. I want to get your thoughts on the whole thing, man, because I know you were like, ask me anything. I thought maybe this is where you're going with it, man. You could be politically correct. You could say no comment. I don't think you're going to know.
Oh, I don't know. There's no such thing as no comment.
You've been in the business forever, man. Yeah. I'd love to get your read on all of this.
Unless you have a contract with Vince McMahon, or Tony Khan now, I guess, right?
Right.
You should be able to work wherever you want.
Right.
Now people get hurt, their feelings get hurt because people do things that they don't agree with. I'm not gonna pull punches. Chad went and did the John Marzano thing at SWF. It was just a fun thing. Nobody talked to each other. And that's where the miscommunication comes in and people got their feelings hurt. So that's where that all started. I talked to Chad, I talked to Billy, I talked to everybody. I'm an open book with everybody.
Right.
I think if people just communicated more often, honestly, a lot of these problems could be solved. I think,
or you just work a really great angle, right? No, I'm kidding. I kid, but yeah.
If that's what they were doing,
yeah.
My hat's off. I mean,
yeah, right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Right.
Like Rob Fury did a lot of stuff that people don't agree with. He did some personal stuff to some friends of mine, and that's why I'll never work for the guy again. I'll go on record and say it right now. He did some underhanded stuff, and he'll deny everything he can, but whatever. I don't want to get too much on a tangent there.
Okay.
But I'm not going to pick and choose like who I work for and who I don't. I'm going to work for everybody. And I talked to Billy about that, and he was totally cool with it. I told him I'm still going to be refereeing for Standalone, and that wasn't a problem. So I think if everybody had just been more open with each other, it wouldn't have been a problem. And this kind of thing's been going on forever. I mean, when I worked in Phoenix Championship Wrestling, we had a rivalry with CZW, kind of. We were more North Middle Jersey. They were South Jersey hardcore, and and then you had Jersey All Pro and North Jersey. It's always been going on between somebody. And I don't think that'll ever change until you see like a commission in New Jersey that kind of regulates things a little bit.
True.
But that's a slippery slope too. So, but as far as, the company hat thing, I'm the GM for Titan. That's what I do. If people disparage Titan, I defend Titan. If people disparage Chad, I usually defend Chad. Do I agree with everything he does? No. Everything he says, I don't. But I don't agree with everything Billy and those guys do either. So I just have to do my job, I guess, and try not to get too in the middle of everything,
The ultimate referee calling it right down the middle on that one, man. Open book.
I try, man. I try not to be biased towards one side or the other because I do love working for Chad. I mean, he is a really good guy.
I'm not here without him.
We've become pretty good friends. We did the Boardwalk Buds thing, which is going to be happening again next year.
Okay.
We've got the Tennessee Ave Food Truck Festival that's going to be coming up, and we're doing the Big Bang. And I would love it if everybody could just be friendly again. I would love to actually sit down with Billy and Chad one day and like just hash everything out and get everything out in the open and like.
Yeah.
I really would. I like everyone to get along. I want to work with guys like Vinny again. And I want to work with guys like Astro Morales again and Lugo. And I get to work with them at IWA, but I would love, for everybody to be able to work together. Is it possible? Yeah. I think anything's possible. Is it going to happen? It's doubtful. But if I could broker that piece, I would do it in a second.
Wow, that's huge, man. I appreciate you saying that because a lot of times, people come on the show, we kind of dance around at the little things here and there.
I'm
But I
not a good
appreciate
dancer. I'm not a good dancer at all. So.
No, I appreciate you addressing it head on and saying here, man, in my experience, when people build bridges, things usually work out for the best, as we've seen in the past. And at the same time, I'm no stranger to, I'm very few people in my life have I written off, but I'm no stranger to saying like, hey, don't want this person in my, so I can look at it from both sides. But I appreciate you addressing that head on, man. And as we see, a lot of competition in companies on national brands, we see competition, but we also see forbidden doors being opened and so on and so forth. And if there is a resolution in some point in time, again, just a messenger, just a journalist here, you could work a heck of an angle with that. I'm just saying that right now. There you go. But dude, thank you for addressing that, man. And I want to ask you this one. You've been doing this forever, but not to be cliche, but what are your goals now, company, whatever, SP's goals going forward? Because you've been doing this for a long time, man. What are your goals?
I always did want to get that call one day to, go up to one of the feds or something, but I'm 43 now. I think that, it's possible still, but I'm pretty beat up over the years, and that would have been a dream at one time, but it's not so much now. I don't know if I'd handle that travel too well. So now I'm kind of looking at more of a local thing. I'd like to run my own company someday.
Really?
Yeah, it's always been in the background, that way I don't have to deal with a lot of the headaches that I do now. But
that's how you solve it. Yeah.
That being said, there's a whole nother mess of headaches that come with having to book shows. So, that would be something I want to do. I've been trying to put a fundraiser together for a friend of mine that's been dealing with brain cancer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my friend Tom McGovern. We were going to do it before COVID hit, and then COVID hit. Luckily, his treatment got better, so he's been doing a lot better.
Good to hear.
But I'd still like to do a fundraiser or something for St. Jude or for
hit us up, man. We're good at fundraisers, like man. You let us know, man. Talk to the BCP
Appreciate
boys. No, of course, man. That's what we do, man. We've learned from some friends of ours in the business, because we've been through some stuff, man. There's a couple times, I've had the wool pulled over my eyes or this or that, where I'm just like, I'm done. Like, forget this. And then I was like, you know what? Like, I've learned to leave the business better than I found it, man. And I'm very appreciative of the business. There's always going to be the circus going on, but I think if we all work together and find the greater good, and for charities, which we've seen with basketball, get at me if you're going to put something together. We're in talk.
Shane really Shane lit a fire under my ass. I've never seen somebody so selflessly put their heart into a show like that. He took money out of his own pocket. He didn't take any money. Every dollar, excuse me, I'm getting a little choked up.
I am too, man.
Every dollar went to the Mercer Miracle League, who is right by my house, and I'm now going to start working with, actually. Because
are you really?
Yeah, I'm going to be talking to Dan Schweck, and I'm going to be going over there and doing some volunteer work soon. So just got to get over there and set everything up with him. But that's an amazing foundation, and guys like him, at Shane, I should say. There's a lot of positive influences in wrestling. We talk about the negativity.
Yeah.
I think we're focusing too much on the negativity. I want to focus on guys like Ryan Turek, who is a referee, and he battled cancer as a kid.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and he's a very positive influence in wrestling. And Shane, and there's a lot of them out there. There's not many people I don't like in wrestling. And those guys have definitely been a positive influence on me, I'd say.
Wow. I love that, man. This has been a great interview, man. I'm listening to everything. I love that. Again, you're just bringing everybody up. You're keeping it real. You're an open book, man. But since you're keeping it real, I'll ask you this one, man. I ask everybody. Now, I know I'm the new guy, so I'm very open to criticism. I ask the superstars. I ask fellow commentators their advice. I ask production promoters. What advice, being the GM and being someone who's been in the business, I know you're listening, man. What advice would you have for me on commentary? Hit me with it.
I think you do a really good job, honestly.
Stop. You don't have to. I'm supposed to put you over.
I'm not going to kiss your ass, dude. I was trying to think of an angle where I could go heel and rip you apart.
I'm used to it. I work with Vicky,
I think you do a really good job. I like listening to you and Al.
I love
Al's another guy. I love Al. Al is what he's been through in the last year and a half. Al is just another positive guy, and he does such a good. You both do. You really do such a good job on commentary for the shows, man. And I can hear you too from the ring when I'm like walking around and I hear, oh, check out SP's shirt tonight. You know,
Yeah,
I got my chops at American Spirit about my red, white, and blue Hawaiian type shirt. I heard you, Al. I heard you.
Oh, it's happening.
I'll see Al on September 18th at IWA. Actually,
Oh, okay.
I got something for you, Parsard.
Oh, it's happening. But shout out to those guys, and I appreciate that.
Just you know, as a commentator, I don't know how much advice I could give you. I mean, you know, you describe the action great. You know who everybody is. You add color and you add substance to the matches sometimes. Because let's be real, not every match is a 10-star match. You know,
Sure.
Or a 5-star, however many stars you want to rate it.
Yeah.
But when you can add substance to it with commentary, it makes it that much better. And you can add to a great match even more by doing what you do. And you know, and don't step on guys. I don't think that you do that, but like, you know, let them do their thing. You know, let it ride out. You know, you guys do a great job though.
Yeah, I was gonna say Alphonse usually he's sometimes a little bit grumpier than I am.
Maybe I'll come over to the table on the during Warfare.
I would love that, man. That would be great. And I just Alphonse is amazing. I love working with him. He's great. And thank you for the kind words, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Let me give you this one, man, because I'm supposed to be putting you over here. But let's talk about the talent, man. You've been in the business forever. I always like to ask this one, man. What advice would you have to some of, like, let's be real, we see a lot of really great in-ring talent that don't always know how to connect with the fans. That's like my biggest thing that I'm trying to do here on the show as well, or don't really know how to get that heat from the fans. You know, you've seen little intricacies and details and all that kind of stuff. You know the business. What advice would you have for an up-and-coming independent superstar that is trying to get to that next level?
Sell. Like you said, you have to connect with the fans. If you're a heel, be a heel, man. You know, grab a guy's hair, poke his eyes, you know, like the fans are going to eat it up. Faces, I would say just try to connect with the people. You know, when you're up, you know, get up on the turnbuckle, you know, you got to really sell. But from a wrestler's perspective, I'm not a wrestler, you know, like it's hard for me to say what these in the moment. I can give a lot of advice to guys, what they're doing in the ring. But I would just say connect with the fans, you know, facial expressions are big.
Yes.
Sell the hell out of everything. That's all I can really say. You have to sell, or no, but if you can't make people believe you, why are they going to believe you? You know, if you can't sell that your arm, you know, you're getting your arm twisted, but you have to sell it or they're not going to think that it really hurts.
Very well said.
It's basic information. I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm not rewriting the book on anything, but
yeah, I got
you. You have to sell. You have to sell, and you have to connect with the fans.
Love it, SP. Dude, this was amazing, man. I'm looking at the time right now. Time flies when we're having fun, man.
We could talk for hours, I'm sure.
Oh, dude, we could. I'm excited to stream this one. This is gonna be great, man. And thank you for just covering all the bases. Thank you for being an open book, SP. Thank you for all the great work you do in the wrestling scene. At the end of the day, I always say smiles on faces is our goal. You do a fantastic job of that, SP.
Thanks.
But we're all about that shameless promo here on the BCQ.
Yes.
Tell everyone where they can follow you, if you got any merch, all that good stuff, SP.
I'm not much of a Twitter guy, but you can find me on Instagram at SP the Referee, Facebook, SP Andersen. You can see me reffing. I want to actually mention another show that I'm not working on. September 18th, UWC, United Wrestling Coalition, is doing a show at Kelly's Banquet Hall, and it's called Ozzy Fest.
Oh, wow.
It is for everybody who knows Daisy DeVille, Linda Danville. Her son was born with a heart condition, and he's doing great now. But we're still doing Ozzy Fest every year. So if you want to look into Ozzy Fest, it's United Wrestling Coalition and Ozzy Fest. So, you know, you can donate and help them out also. As far as where I'll be that same night. I'll be IWA Nutley. I'm going to actually bust a list out here. I had the right things down.
Please, we're all about it. Please.
So we've got Ozzy Fest on 9/18. We've got IWA The One on 9/18. Of course, Titan Championship Wrestling presents Warfare on 9/25. Standalone wrestling, I'll be at the Big Bang on October 9th. They also have a show in Atlantic City that I'm really proud they're doing called it's Pro Wrestling After Dark, Taste the Rainbow. It's an all-inclusive event. It's a pride event. And I'm very proud that they're doing shows like that are all-inclusive and put on the main stage people that are of LGBTQ. I want to get it right. I don't want to say things wrong here.
Yep.
But I'm glad they're featuring that on that show. Then we have Standalone, the Big Bang on October 9th, like I said, and the Boardwalk Buds in Tennessee stuff. Tennessee Ave Beer, Food, and Truck Festival will be coming up, I think, next year. But that's just a few of the things that I wanted to mention.
Yeah, man. Dude, thank you that's why you're here, man. Thank you for doing that and all the great work you do, SP. Dude, thank you for taking the time for me.
I'll be in an open for having me on, man.
Long overdue. It won't be the last time, man. Thank you so much for making the time, and just continued success to you moving forward, my man. Thank you so much.
Dude, thanks, man.
All right. And like we always say here on the BCP, guys, everyone stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out. Peace.